Anchorage Children's Home is a local nonprofit organization that started over 35 years ago, and it was to make sure that abused, homeless, runaway youth had a safe place to go. We're the only emergency shelter within 150 miles of Panama City, so youth who need a safe place, Anchorage is where they could come for that safety.
We first knew about 2 days before October 10th that we were in for a pretty bad hurricane.
Good evening, Lester. Hurricane Michael is a Category 1 storm right now. Winds are at 80 miles per hour, and it's moving into an environment that is very favorable for strengthening.
We assembled a team, the storm ride-out team. It was 4 people, and we just stay wherever the kids stay. We go with them if they get evacuated, and honestly, we probably, in hindsight, should have evacuated, but by the time we knew that it was a Category 5 hurricane, it was 2 in the morning.
We were like, nothing's gonna happen. I was one of those people that was like, nothing's gonna happen, everything's gonna be fine. And then this thing developed so fast that by the time we got it, we had no time to do anything.
We heard the winds, it was like a train, trees were snapping, debris was flying everywhere, we had insulation coming down, ceiling tiles that were falling. I mean, it was really intense.
And we were holding doors together. It was grown-ups and kids holding doors together until the worst of the wind passed. And then we waited. And when we opened the door and looked outside, it was like, it's nothing you've seen before.
The whole community, everything you've known, your house of worship, being able to go to a restaurant to get something to eat, run to the mall to grab some shoes, it's gone.
I mean, it was just really surreal for all of us because the first thing, when you saw the damage to our building is, what are we going to do? Where are these kids, where are these families going to go for the help that they need? Our community was already in a state of crisis with our homeless situation, and the families that we serve are already on the breaking point or in a crisis mode anyway. And then a Cat 5 hurricane comes, and then their whole world is completely turned upside down.
I don't think there's really anything more important than taking care of your youth and your community. And they need a refuge to come to, somewhere that people let them be children and try to help them navigate these really murky waters that they're dealing with in their life. If we're not here, who else are they going to go to? Prior to the hurricane, this 6-county area had one of the highest removal rates for children coming into care for abuse, abandonment, neglect. So as a community, we were already struggling with foster homes to take these kids in, and really as a system of care not being able to adequately address that. And then post-hurricane, you can only imagine what that's going to look like for us.
The community, I think, has done, a good job of realizing that there are people that need extra help. People that were previously homeless, are now kind of mixed in with the newly homeless. And we, I think we're taking another long look at what happens in this county when there is homelessness. There are so many people that have lost their jobs. Our hospital, our mall is shut down. It's just going to be a long process. I think a lot of people are going to leave this area, but I hope that the ones that will stay will help build it back up.
Storm hit October 10th, and February 4th we opened our doors to the shelter, which is it's a miracle. It's a true miracle.
When the storm came, and your first walk through, it was filled with water. The roof was completely, compromised. So the walls were gone. It was flooded. Everything had to be gutted. Fast forward 8 months, it really looks amazing, and that the community played a huge part in that process. You had people that were going through their own crisis with their own homes, and yet they still found a way to make a phone call and say, hey, are y'all okay? What do you need? What can we do? But the long-term effects of this hurricane on our community are going to take a very long time to recover from. There's a lot of families that are still living in very poor conditions that don't have a roof yet and don't have walls in their home, and they're trying to make it the best they can.
It's upsetting to those who live here that we're 8 months out of this storm and we're still seeing so much devastation that's not being addressed. And we're hardworking folks. We work hard every day. We help each other, and there was a lot of that going on after the storm, and it will continue. But we're in a scenario where we don't like to say this because we pride ourselves not to say it, but we need help. We need some outside help to come help us get over the hump. It's going to be very difficult for a long time.
8 months later, we still got work to do, but guess what? We're open, and that's the big thing. The kids' shelter is open, so if there's kids that need our assistance, we're here. You know, we're not close. To me, that's the most important thing. You know, because honestly, at the end of the day, it's what we're here for.
Anchorage has always been needed in our community because it's always been the agency that provides that safety and that safe haven for youth that are in crisis. Well, now there are more youth in crisis and more families in crisis, so our services are going to be needed more than ever. So I think it's important for Anchorage to make sure that the community knows that we're not going anywhere, that we're here, we're not leaving because of a hurricane. We're here like we were 35 years ago to meet the needs of kids that need a safe place to go.